Welcome, Dadas all over Kenya and East Africa, from wherever you're watching us. It's great to see you. We are just coming out of sort of COVID, and we're really excited to be back. We are always back in your rooms every Sunday at 4 p.m. and we really love being here. Today we want to go back to a kind of an old topic that we've talked about before, but really important. I'm joined by Njeri. Hi, Njeri.
Hello.
The topic is abuse and rape.
Yes.
Now, before I introduce you, I allow you to introduce yourself. I'm sure there's somebody somewhere going like, why is this even important? Pauline, you talk about this a lot. Njeri, why is this topic important at all?
One, for prevention, to help the people who are going through it, and also to end it.
Okay.
And also for people to know how prevalent rape is in this country.
Okay.
Yes.
So Njeri, tell us a bit about yourself.
As you've said, my name is Njeri Migwi. Oh no, it's hard when somebody says tell something about you.
I know.
You realize you really don't know.
I know.
I
you don't have your elevator pitch of 5 seconds.
I do, but it just disappeared off the wind. But yeah, I run an organization known as Usikimye. Usikimye is an organization that deals with sexual and gender-based violence.
Okay.
Yes. And we also run a safe house for women and children who have also been survivors of said crime. When I say about sexual and gender-based violence, I'm talking about rape, defilement, molestation, incest, sexual assault.
Wow.
Both attempted or even actually happened.
Okay.
As well as now domestic violence, intimate partner violence, that whole scope that covers, including sodomy, because we do at times get calls from men and we do help them as well,
wow,
if and when it happens.
Okay, the first thing I must tell you, Dada, is Njeri is very busy. She's really very busy. Getting her here was quite something. I mean, we had to arrange and rearrange and arrange. So I'm really glad that you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
But I wanted to start. Where were you born? You don't have to tell us. We never asked ladies how old they are. But where were you born? And is this something you always thought about, or how did you end up here?
I was born in Nairobi. I grew up in the City Council flats of Kariobangi South.
Oh,
yes.
You're an Eastlands girl.
Oh, I'm an Eastlands girl. Yes. So, how did I get myself here? One thing my dad told me, and I always tell people, I do these things, they should thank Mr. Mariga, that's my dad. Our house is always open for people, like relatives, non-relatives, his friends. So there's always an influx of people in and out. Njeri, today you will sleep on the mattress. You know, we have a mother and her children. They've been thrown out. There was always something going on in our house that included a lot of people coming in and out. So I always grew up knowing that kindness is something that you spread to people. So throughout my life, I can tell you when I was in primary school, we used to be taken to Our Ladies of Mercy in Huruma to volunteer. Whether we liked it or not, it was something we just did. My dad didn't care. Sato, tunaenda huko. You go, you wash, chat with old people. Then there was another home, Cheshire home, I think, that he would make us also go. So we grew up knowing service to people is something that you have to do.
Okay.
And that is what applies to me and even my brothers. And yeah, so part of the reasons why I do this, that's one of them. So I've always, part of my life, and not to all those people who know me, they'll tell you, we know. I remember somebody was just commenting on my 40th birthday post that, Njeri, I know you were in 2003, you were in this Kabete rescue home for boys. Nowadays they're not called approved schools, right? You used to come every once a month in Saturdays. You stopped coming, and I was like, in 2003, who even remembers what happened in 2003? Yeah, but he remembered, and he said, I was one of the recipients of your kindness. And I was like, wow, that really stretches it back. Okay. Yeah, so it's something I've always done. But okay, not specifically, obviously, for abuse.
But you trained as a designer.
Yes.
You are very far away from your love, from the love of your life.
Yes. As we say, some things it's just coming back home to the fact that in doing acts of kindness, you find yourself, one of the things you'll find is somebody will tell you, this and this has happened to me, Njeri. We've been thrown out, me and my children. Where do we go? So I would take them to my house, my personal house, and host them and keep them, and you know, until they're able to find their footing, because not many people are going to accommodate you and your children. So you know, I'd try and move my kids here and there like that. I mean, personally, I've even lived with people because they haven't paid rent, they haven't, all these things that you find yourself in the middle of. Until I realized I have to formalize this and just make an organization and take the bold step. So me and my friend, Stella Kachina, we took a bold step of setting up a safe house. There was no safe house here, especially for the things we're doing. There are children home for children who've been neglected, abused or whatever, but there was nothing wholesome for women. Like a halfway house way just to get your act together. Okay. Because some of the time, if you think about it, if you've been abused, where do you go? Where do you go?
Yeah.
Some homes, back Ushago, they're not friendly, or maybe you're
And sometimes
poor.
even the person who has raped you or has done things to you is living with you.
Yes.
So, or is your neighbor.
Yes.
Or your uncle or your relative.
Especially for children.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, and the fact that you've even like ratted out on them.
Yes. Actually for children, 99% of the time a child is molested, it is never a stranger. 1% is what strangers do. 99% is always a father, an uncle, a brother, a neighbor. It's always the circle at home. It's never a stranger.
Okay. Before we go into Usikimye, I want you to tell me, what was the incident that got you to the edge? Did you ever, what prompted you or moved you from the safety of having a career, having a job?
To this?
Yeah. I mean, Njeri, every time I call you, you are at the police station, you are in court. You started off as a designer. I'm trying to understand, how do you move from the safety of having a job, having a career, living a good life, to what you do today? Which is insane, actually.
When I actually literally started, it was about sensitization and awareness.
Okay.
It was never meant to be this serious.
Okay.
You understand? It's something like a side thing you're doing. You're helping people, but on the side you have your career.
So you had a day job.
Yes,
you
I had a
family,
day job. Yes, I was okay.
You are
I really had
okay.
no business getting into this.
How did you start sensitizing people? What happened?
I
Was there a
started
woman who came to you?
I started on Facebook.
Okay.
So I would run this page, my Usikimye page, and I would run it and I would teach people what to do when you're raped, what to do when you're violated, what to do when you're beaten, all these things. So I would tell them, then now this is where the problem came. People would tell me, so you're telling me I should leave my husband and go where? And I'm like, well, to your relatives, to your uncle, to your home, back home, to your friend. And the incident that propelled me really to start was a gang rape that happened to this girl. She was 19, she'd been raped by 5 men, and she had been thrown in a ditch. So the person who called me picked her up, took her to her house, and told me, Njeri, what do? I follow your page, you tell us this is what we should do. I'm in Dandora, it is 6 p.m. in the evening, I am afraid to leave. What do I do? And I sat there and I was like, what does she do? I said, okay, one case only. I went. I picked the girl, I took her to hospital. I went with her back to my house because I think we finished at around 3. I went with her back to my house, her and the girl who had rescued her. So when I sat down with them, she told me how dangerous it was for this girl to go back because who knows what would happen to her. So what could I do with this girl? So I started looking for safe houses. I just automatically assumed we have safe houses in Kenya. And there was not a safe house to be seen, or at least none that I knew at that point. Now I'm at least, I'm now very conversant. I can tell you there are few safe houses apart from ours. So it was very perturbing. I'm asking people on Facebook. I have a large following, so at least you know that a few people will know things, and no one seemed to know what to do with this. So she stayed in my house.
So the girl who'd been raped?
Yes, she stayed with us.
For how long?
For 2 weeks, as we are trying to see how to relocate her, what to do with her, because I really wanted to move her out of where the rape was, because it's very traumatic. I keep telling people one thing that people don't know, and why rape is not taken as seriously as it should. Rape is a very personal crime. It's violence against you. And that is the thing that people don't see, that you have been violated. When a crime happens against you, most people don't take it as seriously. When you're robbed, a bag went, your phone went, people tend to empathize. Or when, something happens. But when it is something that happens to your very person, and it is invisible, and in this country, sex is already a taboo. So violent sex then becomes even much more of a taboo. So we don't look at the trauma that surrounds the act itself. So we needed to move her from the safety of from where she was living to a different place.
Okay.
So it happened one case, and then it became another case, and then it became another case, and then now at one point I had 3 women living with me in my house.
Okay. Did you yourself ever encounter any rape or any abuse at home or anything, or somebody close to you? How did you end up in the subject of Njeri, you could have ended up taking care of old people, old mothers.
No, I am personally, in my history, I have been a survivor of domestic abuse.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have, because I'm trying to understand. You see
where it came from.
Where
it could have been so
where
many
does
years.
this passion come from? Was it violent? Was it constant? What prompted this passion? I'm trying to dig, because normally these kinds of passions that drive people to empathy is because of something that happens to us. I have my own passions, for example, and it's because of my experiences in those passions that allow me to be passionate. Even when the challenges are so amazing, I keep remembering there's a reason why I do this. There's a reason. What is the reason, or how did that domestic violence towards you make you this person?
I was pretty young when I met my first husband. That tells you there's a second husband.
You're very lucky to have 2 husbands. I always tell women who've had 2 husbands, please do not apologize.
No,
there are some of us who cannot even find one.
I make no apologies for it.
If you've had 2, you're doing much better than many of us who are still looking for the one. So you're good to go.
Yes,
so how did that change your life?
We were pretty young when we met, really, really young. I don't want to say how young. It was young that we should not even have had any business being with each other. So that I'm talking about teenage years. And well, we set off and got married. He was a bit older than me, but yeah, I was a kid, and I had this, this idea of how marriage should be.
I know, the one in the movies.
Yes,
yes,
I was an enthusiastic reader of Mills and Boons.
Mills and Boons.
Oh,
and
man.
Daniel Steele.
And Daniel Steele, of course.
Nobody has ever beaten in Mills and Boons.
Daniel Steele, yeah. No, I know, but so they gave you this idea of romance and happily ever after. Yeah. That wasn't the truth on the ground. Yeah. So I don't know. I was obsessed with. I came from a broken home. So I was raised by my dad. So I had this idea of ideally wanting a mother so badly and wanting to be a wife. Don't ask where it came from. I have no idea either. So I had this idea in my head of how a mom should be and, a wife. So I really stayed in a bad marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to hold on to that marriage. Okay. And at the end of it all, one day I just walked out and I left. Because I lost part of my hearing.
Your hearing?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
In one of the brawls?
Yes, I'm partially deaf.
Oh my God, I am so sorry.
Nope, it's okay. If I didn't lose my hearing, I probably would...
I know, you'd still be married.
Yes. And in one of these beautiful, wonderful suburbs like where we are. My hope is to be up here.
You used to be beaten in a home up here?
Oh yeah, upscale, in case you think the only people who beat people are ghetto.
Hey.
Yes.
So the guy was extremely violent until...
Extremely violent and extremely wealthy, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that was... So when you walked out, did you walk out to the kids or
No,
what
I just left.
You just walked away?
Myself. Me, myself and I.
Okay.
Yes.
How did you rebuild your life after that?
To be honest, I'm not going to tell somebody walking away from, especially a marriage that was at that level, where we're looking at Range Rovers and stuff like that. It's the easiest thing you can do.
Ati what? Ebu just say that
I laugh when people say...
Ebu just say ati just say ati your marriage with what?
I'm saying where Range Rovers are involved and homes in Runda and such things.
Homes in Runda and Range Rovers.
Yes, it's the easiest thing.
I like the way you're just saying, just
it
like
is
that.
What it is.
Homes, it is what it is.
Yes.
Homes in Runda and Range Rovers.
Yeah, and there's this song where they say
afadhali ukuwe na unalia kwa Range Rover badala ya baiskeli.
I have cried in a Range Rover. I can tell you, every time I hear that song, I'm like, you people, you do not even have a clue. Okay. It is harder because nobody thinks. You are the epitome of what people think is wealth and happiness and every good thing.
Yeah. Especially from a girl who came from
Eastland, yes.
From the hood.
And here I was living the good life.
I know. You're supposed to be enjoying the good things.
Yes. But let me tell you, there are different kind of violence, of course. Ours was not all the time he would beat me. It would be maybe once every 6 months. But it would be really, really bad. And you know, the lead up to that is, you know, there's always tension, and then there's a beating, and then there's a honeymoon period where he's so repentant and he buys you a new car and stuff.
Ati?
Yeah,
I like the way you are sliding these things in. Ati, he buys you what?
you know those
A
kind
new
of,
car?
Yeah, you know, so
And diamonds.
yeah, and shopping in London, you know, there's such things.
Ati?
So you know, it's tukayo.
Hey,
So
that does. Wait, come here behind the blue tent. Ati what?
So now you tend to forgive.
Because
of the
he's
honeymoon
making up
period.
with
Yes,
the
with the
all
goodies and
yeah,
the
with
gifts,
the goodies.
yes.
Okay. What gave you the courage to leave? Because it's a big ask for a small girl.
I had a meeting with myself. I called myself to a meeting because really, kwanza I left at the tension stage where things were really bad, really, really bad. You see now, again, diverse backgrounds. He always had an idea that I want to steal from him, that I want to kill him.
You're
to
from
take his
Eastlands,
money.
girl.
I'm from
You're
Eastlands,
Eastlands.
so
You're a hood
obviously,
girl.
yeah. You know, he would come and maybe there's water in a glass and he'd be like, imagine, you know, you give him water and he says it's poison. It came from the dispenser. I mean, how did we poison it? He was very paranoid.
Paranoid.
About it, yes.
He was paranoid.
And now when he grew paranoid, he would beat us. We were terrified, like we were living in terror. And I asked myself, Njeri, you grew up in happiness, you grew up in joy. Remember, I wasn't telling my dad any of this. Because
Your
my
dad probably have come from
my
Eastlands with a gun.
dad never approved of this marriage from day one. My dad was always like, no, Njeri, no, I brought you up better. And I don't think this is a man for you. You don't come from the same worlds. You have different ideas. You're outspoken. Something is different from him.
So you grew up in this home where it's almost socialism.
Yes.
In the sense of
Yes.
the word, the door is always open.
Yes.
People walking with problems, and they're always being taken care of.
Yes.
On Saturdays you go to take care of children, and
Yes.
you move up.
And then I move up, and then first and foremost, all my friends, I didn't have friends.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
Yeah.
you can see the way that doesn't work.
Yeah, it
When you're
won't
up
work.
here, it
Yeah.
doesn't interact. So
Yeah.
I had no social friends, like the friends I grew up with or all that. I lost that. And I started losing touch with my dad because I was afraid to see my dad. Because every time I would see my dad, he'd say, something is wrong with you. What is going on in your life? Why aren't you telling me? Why are you shrinking? You don't speak anymore. You're always looking down. Something is different. The light in your eyes is dead.
Yeah.
He says, I know how I raised you, but something is different. Is this man? So I stopped talking to my dad. Because I was now, I don't know why, for me, staying in this marriage was like a goal to show my dad I'm happy. You know, it's not as bad as you think.
It makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't approve of the marriage.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then one day I sat down and asked myself, this is in 2011? Yeah, that's when I left. And I asked myself, Njeri, what are you doing here? But the thing that prompted it was when he told me, he knows even if he does anything to me, even if, what is this thing that carries mchanga? This lorry that, you know, the
tipper.
excavator.
The excavator.
He said if an excavator came here, it would not remove me from that house because he's rich. And I sat there and I said, yeah, what? I'm staying here for my kids. That's what I used to think. I'm staying here to make my marriage work. And this man says an excavator cannot move me. I don't know why that was a thing that he said many, very bad things along the way. I probably also said a few of my share. No. But
Yeah, in those
in
cases,
all honesty, yes.
in those cases, there are many things that
you know
are
the one
said.
that somebody's punching you, but you can't punch back, but you can throw a word here and there.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I don't know why that hit me so hard and so badly that I was like, you know what, that's it, I'm done. It's over, I'm leaving. Okay. And that's how I left. Okay. There was nothing at he momentous, at he beat me that day. No, the ear was already not working. But that for me, I don't know, I felt so insulted. I felt like, no. So I left.
Okay.
And I left.
Is that when now you started blogging and writing?
Yes.
Was blogging a way for you to
It was a way for me to heal.
To start healing?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my way to heal. Okay. And that was also a way that women would reach out to me and tell me, are you serious? Can you? Would you? Is this how? How will I rebuild? And so I started having this following that, you know, knew about my story, believed in me, and I could tell somebody, leave. I did it, and here I am. I eventually got my kids, maybe a year or two later, but I did get them back.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it was a bit of
Oh,
There was a bit of a fight, wasn't there?
Not a bit. It was
Okay.
a tussle
It was
and
a
a
tussle
hustle
and a hustle.
and a fight
Yeah.
and courts
Okay.
and so on and so
courts.
forth. And
Okay.
of course kidnappings and, you know, stealing your kids and yeah.
Okay. So you see, once you tell us this story, now we
It
can
makes
understand
sense,
where, now we understand where the passion to talk to women. I'm sure when you began, it began with stories that were not about as horrific as.
Mine is not horrific, not
No,
in
no,
the
no.
scheme of things I've seen now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I don't even talk about it anymore, because I'm like, wow,
Exactly,
the things I have
exactly.
seen, mine is, I don't even now consider myself even a survivor. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
I have seen things and
Yeah.
I have seen things and I'm okay.
Yeah. What are some of the, how bad is the situation, Njeri? I always ask
Bad.
this because how bad is it? How bad
Terrible.
is it? It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Are there some cases that you think about today that you think, this one I'll never forget?
Yes. The rape of a 2-week-old baby. That traumatized me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did the baby live?
No. And the mother walked to the police station naked, carrying a dead body. That traumatized me. I think that is etched in my head. And last month, an 8-month-old baby.
Did the baby live?
If that is life, well, the baby is alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean if that is life?
I don't know what sort of life that baby is gonna have, but yeah,
Yeah.
the baby is alive.
Okay.
Mm.
Completely damaged? Or?
Yes,
Okay.
including limbs, so the baby will never walk again. Yeah, so those are things that happen.
How do you,
And for those 2 children, those were their biological fathers.
their biological fathers raped them? How do you wake up in the morning and keep doing that?
I'm going to be very honest. It's taken a lot of. There are times I feel like quitting. Really, I feel like quitting. It's hard, and I need therapy. And when I have time, I go for therapy. Because there was a time I could not even function like a normal mother, even a wife, because I was like, you know, just look at my husband. I'd be like, is he? What? You know. We couldn't even sit like this and talk because I was like, is he going to hit me? I think I'd seen so much violence, I started becoming very afraid and very nervous. There's a day I came home and I couldn't see my kids and I was totally terrified. And they had gone to the shop. I forgot I had sent them. In fact, nowadays I don't send them to the shop. It really does affect your personal life in ways that are very different. When you live in a life where the most thing you see is violence, it changes you as a person, changes your worldview.
Do you think that most of us women live in a bubble?
In regards to?
In regards to just how much violence that, I don't know whether it's
We are conditioned
to
to want a home. It is not by birth, it is conditioning.
okay.
You've been taught that mwanamke ni kuvumilia. Women have been taught that they need to be married to be, you know, to be validated. We have such a bad culture that shames single motherhood. We have a very bad culture. I think you see it online, where women, single mothers of children, are always being shamed. They're shamed for the parent that stays, which I don't understand, when you should be shaming the men that left and left them holding, you know, a baby and a home. But we shame them. So that also stigmatizes the idea of living, because who wants to be seen as the divorcee? Who wants to be seen as the single mama? So because of this shame that, you know, we get, most women would rather cling to the idea of marriage. Then there is societal expectations. Our society expects you to be married at a certain age, have children at a certain age, have a happy home, quote unquote. So all these things keep women stuck in marriages. The other thing that keeps women stuck in marriages, or so they say, are children. I stay for the children is an excuse I hear all the time. I don't want my child to grow in a broken home. The home is already broken. You're being beaten. What are you telling your child? That the language of love is violence, that a man I stay with or a woman that I stay with, the only way we can communicate to each other is through violence. What are you telling that little boy that is looking up to you? What are you telling that little girl? You're telling them as they grow to do the same. Most people that abuse each other grew up in violence. So they're only doing the same thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Njeri, we have to go into a break. When we come back, I want us to talk about your work with Usikimye.
No problem.
Yeah, what you're doing there. And I also want us to talk about other things, like what more can we do as a society?
Okay.
What more can governments do? What more can we all do
Okay.
to just make life a little bit better?
No problem.
Yeah, okay. So we're going into a break, Dadas. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Dadas. We've been talking about violence, and Njeri has been so gracious. You've shared your story. Thank you, Njeri, for being so honest. Incidentally, how did you meet your next husband? This must be the happy part. Incidentally, because listening to you, I'm shocked that there's a man who had the audacity.
Yeah, actually.
You know.
I always ask him, what was that?
I know, what was that? Like, how did you, I mean, how did it happen? How long after did you get remarried?
First and foremost, I had sworn.
You had sworn never.
Never.
I know, you
In
and
fact,
men are
when
done.
I met him the first day and he told me he's going to marry me, I laughed until I rolled on the floor.
Really?
I told him, first of all, you're not my type. Second of all, I'm never getting married. And third of all, me. Hey, I laughed. So yeah, every time we celebrate our anniversary, he reminds me that I laughed at him.
I'm sure he has.
All the cards are written that way.
Yeah, you laughed at me the first day I told you I was going to marry you. Okay.
He was very bold. I used to do charity in Kenyatta Hospital again. I met this man at a construction site where I was the interior designer for the project. I didn't know him. I didn't pay any attention to him. I was doing my business, minding my own life and moving on. So when he set up for a date, he used a friend of mine who were very close. And he told him, I'd like to meet Njeri. I'm really interested in her. And my friend told him, are you mad? You understand that Njeri is one of the most outspoken people. And I said, you bring her here. So we met, Cafe Pronto. I was going to Kenyatta. I used to do Kenyatta every Thursday. I would take to the kids of the cancer ward. Ward 1C. I would take them snacks and then I would read them stories and then, we'd just have a good afternoon. So he told me, once you leave the cancer hospital, my friend, not him, told me I meet him at Pronto. There's a Pronto in Upper Hill. That's where I met my husband.
Okay. Are you happy?
Absolutely. Yes.
I know. That's the only time I've ever seen you smile, by the way. That's the only time I've ever seen you smile.
Oh, he makes me happy.
He makes you happy.
Yeah.
Thank God.
He's very supportive of what I do. He doesn't mind me and my big mouth. He loves my kids. They are literally his kids. I love his children. We adopted 2 more children.
Okay.
So we are a family of how many kids? Wait, I have 5.
5 children.
I have 5 children.
Okay.
He came with 1. I came with 2. Then we adopted 2.
So you're a blended family?
Yes, we are a proper blended family.
Okay.
I'm a bio, adoptive, and stepmom.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have time for the kids?
Yes, I do.
Because every time I call you, you're going somewhere.
I do. They also understand what I do and how
Okay.
important it is.
Okay.
So we shave off some time to be with each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm so happy that you have a good family. And that's, again, the nice, happy smile comes out when you talk about
My
your family.
family is my support. I
Yes.
don't know what I would do without them.
Okay.
They even know when I come and I'm sad and you'd see everyone running. Mom, do you want water? What happened? Is everything okay? Did the police harm you? Were you beaten? I've been beaten a few times. Yeah, so they know the things I deal with.
Yeah.
I go with them sometimes, especially to the safe house. They also volunteer there. It's a must.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so they know the kind of things I do, what I handle. There are times I can't even drive because I'm so nervous or I'm so shaken. So Mr. Husband steps in.
Yeah, and has to take you.
And takes care of.
Please say hello to him.
I will.
We are so. Tell him he's representing the men well in that corner of the world.
Yes.
So Usikimye.
Yes.
Why the word Usikimye?
Because we have been silent for far too long. As I said, we have a taboo. One of the taboos is about domestic violence or even rape. How many people do you know would boldly say, I've been raped?
None.
Exactly.
None that I know.
How many people will boldly say, my husband beats me up? Even though you see them with, you can see them, you can see the black eye. I was an expert of makeup and I would say the door hit me. You could see the bruise, but the door hit me.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally told the doctor for my ear, Because he called me and told me, can we talk? Is everything okay?
So you went to hospital, the doctor realized that there was a...
I literally couldn't hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So the
couldn't
doctor
hear for 24 hours, which we didn't
Really?
go to hospital.
Yeah.
But I remember we went to some nice place. I don't know, tribe.
Yeah, the tribe.
We were at the tribe.
I hope we don't get sued for this.
Yeah. No, I wasn't. No, it wasn't. I wasn't beaten at the tribe. I was taken to the tribe
Yeah,
after the beating.
Okay.
And then I couldn't hear. I literally couldn't hear. And I think that was the time I was really terrified because I thought I'd lost my hearing. And he couldn't believe I can't hear. So he's like trying to do nice things so that I can hear. And he would talk and I would shout. I don't know. He was the one who was telling me I was shouting at him. But I couldn't hear. So we had to now like text to each other. So when now after 24 hours, he took me to hospital. And I remember I outrightly lied to the doctor that I hit the door.
Because there was a bruise,
Yes.
of course.
And the doctor said, I don't know which doors hit people like this. I would love to see the door. And he's like, do you need help? And I'm terrified to tell him the man I'm with is sitting here is the one, you know, when he's examining me on the bed.
You're almost doing this.
I want to tell him, but I'm scared. I'm scared. And I remember that fear. And yeah. So Usikimye comes from do not be silent, because we have been very silent about things like this because we think they're very intimate. Or because, you know this thing that they say, watu wamefunika blanketi moja, si wachanana maneno yao. Hey, watu wamejifunikia na blanketi moja, these people are harming each other. You know, there is harm, grievous harm. You cannot say watu wa maneno. Hata ama when you call your friend and then they go back and then you're mad at them because they went back. But domestic violence is not broken like that. I can save them as many times as you can.
Really?
Save them. Let her come to your house, sit there. If she goes back, it's okay. But let her know that you're a safe haven. Okay. History, they will go back.
Okay.
Because this is somebody you've been intimate with. This is your husband. This is your boyfriend. This is somebody you have children with. You can't just expect somebody. It took me so long to leave that marriage. Yeah, so I understand going back. I ran away. I'm not going to say that I just stuck there. I've run away as much as 5 times. Rented a house.
So you ran away, then he comes,
and then he comes
to you.
and he knows how to talk me back, and I would go back. You would think that one day I just boldly woke up and left. No, I have run away many times. I've rented a house in Parklands, I've rented a house in Forest Road, I've rented, you know, in Pangani, and, you know, all these places. 5 times I have run away, and 5 times I went back. Until one day I walked away, and I never came back. So I understand that it is not easy to leave. Don't give up on your friends, especially when you see them. Hey, by the chali yake umchapa. Yes, anamchapanga. But and then anarudingi kwa nini? It's not the same. Again, as I say, these are very intimate violences that happen on your person. For you to reconcile that there is no more love, it's going to take a while. Yeah, you know.
The idea of a safe house. That is an interesting idea. I think we should have more of them.
We should have.
How did you start it, and how are you running it?
You remember the thing? You remember the thing?
A wing and a prayer. Eh?
Oh yes, it's by a wing and a prayer. Remember the thing I told you about just boldly taking a leap of faith? So me and my friend Stella, we're talking and we're like, that was on 29th of December last year. And things are bad. And she's like, why are you living with people in your house? I don't think it's good for your kids. You know, you need to possibly have, let's do a safe house. Yeah. And I'm telling her, chick, do you know what it takes to run a safe house? Oh, we need this and this and this. So what we were doing at that point is somebody stays with us, then we give them shopping, a little means of money, and maybe pay rent for them. Then a friend of ours gave us proper shopping. You know, shopping, and we look at that shopping and I said, this shopping can feed 5 mamas. What you're going to do is you're going to boldly take a step and open a safe house. We had, I think, between the two of us, 20,000, 2 mattresses, and the shopping. We went and took 2 rooms somewhere and started a safe house. That's how we did it.
How many people are there like today in your safe house?
22.
22 people?
Yes.
Wow, you're smiling again.
Because can you imagine 22 people are safe, children and women? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They are safe.
Well, you were telling me some of the stuff you're doing at the safe house.
number one thing we do in the safe house is counseling. Because somebody who has come from a background of violence, been thrown out, especially now during COVID, my friend, things have been bad. They need a lot of counseling just to normalize that they are worth being saved, just to tell them that, you know, you are everything that you think you're not. And, you know, just for them to just give up their pain. So one of the things we do every Friday, every person has individual therapy with a professional therapist, both for the moms and for the kids, because these are also kids who've seen violence, so both for them. We also do music, art, and dance therapy for the babies, and we have yoga. It's a home, it's run as a home. That's what I was telling you. They run. The women take care of the kids. For the big kids or for the kids who come alone, the ones who have been, or for a kid to come alone, you know, I'm not a children's home. So for a child to come alone, I've been given by the court to stay with us for safety. It's normally a child who has been molested or defiled. So I also stay with them. So for them, you know, we try to normalize life just as I'm their mom. I'm everybody's mom in that home.
You deal a lot with police. I have nothing against the police. I think they do an amazing job. What can they do better?
Be sensitive. I'm going to say something I've been looking at now that I deal with the police a lot. The police see a lot of violence.
Yeah, they do.
A lot of violence. They're not okay.
They see way too much, like they pick up. So one police friend of mine said, one morning you wake up, you pick up a dead body.
Yes.
Then you go and people are fighting and somebody's dead. Then you end up in a hospital somewhere.
Yes.
Then there's someone who is
I already
saying
see a
that
lot of violence and it affects me.
Exactly.
How much more do you think a policeman sees in a day? And what are we as a country telling them? I think we should normalize therapy for policemen.
Yeah, we should.
That is something I am thinking I am going to start.
Do you think that's why they don't see the magnitude
No,
of...
they don't. Why would you see the magnitude? I've seen a dead body.
Yeah.
I've seen a woman beaten. I've seen a man killed. I've seen... This is so many bad things. I literally, I told you, I went down with the police to go look for a rapist. You understand?
Yeah.
And when we were trying, because he refused to open the door for us, and you know, they would call him names. And I found myself also doing the same. And I was like, "Hiya! Hey, this is not you." You know,
even you are shouting
yes,
the same bad
like,
names. You're like, "Hiya,
I was so shocked. And then I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, because these are things they just do. And when we arrested him, they left to go to another place. This is at 1 at night. This is just my one case. What about the other cases that they see? How much more do they see? And I think we do not really take the magnitude of mental health seriously. I understand police more now that I deal with them on an everyday basis. I understand that first they're short of resources.
Completely.
Yes, they are. Sometimes you have to go as for a P3. You have to go, you know, go photocopy it yourself, you know, because they don't have it. So police are understaffed, 1. 2, they are not supported, especially mentally, mental health-wise, yeah? So those are some of the things that you should look at. In as much as some of them do whatever they do, I think now having dealt with them, I have come to be more understanding. I used to be very outspoken, like police are this and nowadays I'm not. Actually give kudos where I can.
I think we've dehumanized them.
Yes.
And when you dehumanize people, what they do is they give you back what you give them. They pile it together nicely,
And then
make
they
a
hand
nice
it back.
ugali,
Yes.
and then they hand it back to you.
Yes.
Because we've basically...
Yes, it is service to everyone.
Yeah.
But what about service to the police?
Yeah.
Yeah. They handle a lot. I know now because I handle a lot. There's a lot on my plate. And I think one of the things is we should normalize, especially for the crimes that I deal with, we should have a gender desk in every police office where a woman can report in safety, where nobody has to shout at you, "Wewe umerepiwa, kuja hapa." You know? You don't
I think they don't even realize they're doing that.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
It's normal.
Because just 2 minutes before that, they said, "Wewe umeua mtu kuja hapa."
Hey, you see, so it's nothing to them, but to you, the person that this has been violated, you can imagine you feel violated all over again. Yeah, it is not. Let me tell you, rape is so bad because you're violated the first time, you go back to hospital, the examination itself feels like another violation. When you go to report, it feels like, that's why I told you rape is so bad. it affects people for the rest of their lives. I speak to so many women, men even, who have been raped and their lives are never the same. So I don't even want to imagine what happens to a child who has been defiled. Your life is completely different. And you change. So you can imagine when you're at a police station and you're being told, well, umerepiwa, it's like now you've been put a tag. And you feel like you need to carry this tag. And again, rape is also the one crime that you are the person who has been the victim, but you're still the person who is blamed. I think rape is the only crime I've ever seen in the world that you, the person that has been raped, is still expected to prove that you are raped. So again, going back to courts, you're violated all over again because you have to narrate your story.
Do you think in courts, our court system is doing enough?
I think our court system can only work with what they're given. You know? And sometimes the thing is skewed from the point of contact. You are raped, most women will go home, and I don't blame them, and shower.
Bad idea.
The worst ever. Because all the data, all the specimen is gone, which is okay. We can still get something little. Then there is the fact that there is, you know, rape is violent in either way or form, whether it is by a person you know or a stranger. Then you go to the police, and the police tell you, I remember there was this girl who told me, the police told her, who raped you? She said, strangers. I mean, it was on a bridge, it was early in the morning when I was going to work. I don't know them. The police said, then what's the point of me giving you an OB? How will we find them? Do you know the helplessness of that? So there's you know, before we even go to prosecutorial misconduct, already there at the police station, you've already been told there's nothing that can be done. So she went home. And every time she would pass in that bridge, because it was the only way to go to the stage, all she would think is, today is the day I'm going to be raped. And then, of course, she went to hospital, to a public hospital. Unfortunately, the nurse that she met told her, wewe sasa, ulikuwa unatoka kwa nyumba 5:30 kwa nini? Are you an economist? Wewe ndio unaenda mapema. Ndio ni kwa sababu ni 20 bob. This girl did not even get treatment. Then she remembered, oh yeah, let me call Usikimye. So I went, I picked her, took her to hospital, took her for therapy. Told her she needed to move. In as much as, because that is traumatizing. Every time passing that bridge just brings back the memories of the rape. Yeah, so those are some of the things you have to do.
Okay. What about homes, at home? Because a lot of rape, I think for children, happens, as you said, 99% of people we know.
Can I say something that is not going to make me endear me to people?
Yeah, please do.
Can we stop protecting rapists? Mothers, wives, sisters. This one goes to the women, to the dadas as you call them.
Yeah, I call them
We
dadas.
are the person. When your child comes and tells you, Uncle Niguza, what do you do? What do you do? Who is the first person you protect? Do you protect the child or do you protect the man?
I think you protect your family. See, you protect, I mean, you don't want your family to be known as a family of rapists, so we keep it hush-hush.
Do you know what happens? The rapist continues raping and nothing stops. All you have done is shut down a monster that you don't know. I always ask somebody, if you know your brother raped somebody, or your husband, or your uncle, would you be comfortable giving him your child? And everybody says what?
No.
Then why wouldn't you report him?
I think the stigma associated with a rapist coming from your home, Njeri, you can understand, eh?
I know. Because I know what rape does to people. I used to be like, you know, no. Because if I can't leave you with my child, then you're not worth, or if we can't come to visit you because we know you're a known rapist. What about the child that doesn't know that that uncle rapes people? How do you think maybe, does it occur to you that he could be raping his children in the same house? Who will he rape next? Who is safe? When we harbor rapists, if we as women stop the silence and say, look, this is my brother. Me, I'm telling you the truth, as the Lord liveth. If my son raped somebody, they know. I will be the first person to frog match them to the police. We need to normalize having discussions about sex to our children. We need to normalize teaching our children consent. That if a woman says no, it means no. No means withdraw and go back. It's okay. Anytime, rape is withdrawal of consent. It is sex without consent. Whether it is violent or whether it is at home after you came from a club drunk or she said no. That's why you hear there's something known as marital sex. It is where, because I am married to you and you have said you have a headache or no, you decide you're still going to have sex. So you have your way with that person. That is still...
Okay, wait.
I know it's not a comfortable
I
thing.
will just repeat that again. Actually, what is that?
So, I'm at home.
Uh-huh.
I don't feel like doing this thing. I don't feel like having sex with you.
No, but you are my husband.
But you are my husband. And then you force yourself on me. What exactly is that?
Yeah, but you can't take
It's
that
married.
to court. Can you take it to court?
Oh, in developed countries you can.
Okay.
You can and you do. Especially because you don't even know that even here in this country there's marital rape. A lot of it which is really violent. A lot which is violent. Where somebody beats you up and then he rapes. You know, he's your husband, yes, but he rapes you. Very uncomfortable thing that I'm talking about, but married women know what I'm saying.
But in Kenya...
And now they hate it. And now this person starts hating sex. Because for them now, it is no longer an act of intimacy, it's an act of violence.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so probably it has to continue.
It escalates, but
it
because
escalates.
you're holding your family together. By the way, I'm pro-families, I'm pro-happy families. I'm pro-functional families. I am not anti-family. That's what people think I am.
Okay.
I'm anti-families because I'm saving women. So people have this hostility towards me that Njeri breaks marriages. No, I don't. I'm married, so that should already tell you I'm pro-family. But I'm pro-functional families. I'm pro-healthy families. I'm pro-raising children in love and care and in a place of joy. Not in a place where amezoea kuona mama akichapwa, amezoea kuona mama akirushia baba maneno. You know, I am can we raise, what generation, are we not worried about the generation that we are raising of broken children and what they're going to do? Are we not worried that when you have dysfunctional children who grow up to become dysfunctional adults, what happens?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. We cannot be silent about certain things because these things affect people even when they're grown. They affect how they relate. They affect about how they raise their families. They affect how they, even like how you relate with other people.
Yeah.
How you relate as a family and how you relate as a friend. I'm terrified of men. You see, this is somebody will tell you, I'm terrified of men because my boss raped me. It was one evening after work, akanita kwa ofisi yake, he raped me. You change that person. You change the dynamics of how they see themselves. As I say it again, you see? Then this person goes and gets married. How do you interpret that person will function? Because one, we only have 50 psychologists in this country. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I know that there are quite few, yeah.
50 in a country of 50 million.
Yes, it is.
Because we don't take mental health very seriously.
It is one psychologist per 1 million.
Per 1 million. We don't take mental health seriously. So we are a country of damaged people. You understand?
Yeah.
We are so damaged. We're just walking around damaged. You know, I don't even want to start saying how much damage the government has done to us.
Yeah.
Then there is your own personal stress. Combined with that, we're just a country of damaged people. Okay. And hurt people.
That's true. That's what I was going to say, yeah.
You know, we bleed onto each other. You know, because you're so angry. You're very angry. Most survivors of rape, they are angry inside. They're so angry. They're just ready to snap at you at any given thing because it's a reminder of what happened to them. Okay. Yeah.
So any parting shots, any parting thoughts? You've told us some really sad things. Is there any silver? I always like to leave us with an inspiring thought. Is there any hope?
We are winning this battle.
We are.
Yes.
Phew.
As long as a rapist goes to jail, we've won.
Okay.
As long as we can get therapy to a child, we're winning.
Okay.
We're winning. What we are hoping for largely is support from the government. Okay. If we could have a safe house every county, maybe government run, government led or government sponsored, that would be a good place. A safe haven for women and children and even men to run to, you know. But the thing is, how are we winning? We are talking about it. See, I'm here. See, I'm seated at Dada. See, I'm talking about this. The thing that normally wouldn't have spoken about.
How many people have you reached? You gave me a number. which I thought was very cool. But
Oh,
by the
we've
fact that
done-
you are not funded by anyone,
Yes.
and that
I'm funded by my pocket. I'm not rich, my friend. I still live in Eastlands. That should tell you a lot. So my pocket, my friends on Facebook, yes, the ones that know the work I do, and that's it.
that's it.
That's it.
And you said up to now
350.
350 rescues.
Yes.
You're a real Dada. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Where can we, I don't know, is there anyone you would like to appeal to for help? That's your camera, I think.
I don't know.
Are there people who should be helping you and not helping you?
This is our slogan in Usikimye, that together you and I can end sexual and gender-based violence.
Okay.
You can support us.
Okay. How do we reach you? Do you have a
We are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on, you know, my number is like a hotline.
Yeah.
Anybody, trust me, I get calls from as far as Turkana, so
Yeah.
that should tell you.
Yeah.
My number is out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can call us, you can reach us anytime. If you are in trouble and you're looking for help, we are here. Those are the people I especially want to call out to. If you want to help, we would be grateful. But if you are in trouble and you're looking for help, you're not alone. We are here. Call us anytime. Don't hesitate. Text me, message me, flash me. I will call. You call, we come. That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, normally when these things happen, I'm like, I have nothing more to add. I mean, if you're in trouble, you call Njeri. I mean, we leave you. Have a safe week. Take
Thank
care of
you.
yourselves.
I-
Baraka.
Sure.